easy rolling channel. Some of you might be surprised that I am speaking in English right now. Well, I like to do onboards of the cars, but unfortunately I don't live in Germany and I don't have an autobahn to drive like 300 kilometers per hour and test speeding and stuff. But still, I figured that I have some audience that likes to watch onboard movies, and they don't come from Poland, where I come from, and I make films about cars in Polish language. But this one is for you. This is an experiment. This is my first movie in English. So let's go and let me know in the comments if you like it, if you like the onboard experience without speeding, but just talking about how it drives and how it performs and what you can expect from having that kind of car. So this is the Golf 1 Cabrio, convertible or whatever you want to call it. It's from 1989, so it's pretty old, but not that old. The engine is 1.6, 75 horsepower. It's not a monster, but it does pretty well. I mean, for a weekend driver, it's totally enough for this car. It doesn't accelerate like crazy, but it's okay. The fuel consumption is around 10 liters, maybe less if you have a light foot. The car is in pretty good condition, I have to admit, especially mechanically. It drives very, very well. I didn't have any problems with it. It starts, it doesn't heat up, and as a weekend driver, it's pretty cool thing. This is the view from the rear side. As you can see, there's the roof, convertible, and it's pretty easy to take it off. You just have to take off this cover. There are two small levers here and there. You push them and you open and close the roof. It's very easy. It took me about 2 minutes to do it for the first time, so it's not a big problem. If you encounter some rain, you can do it very quickly. I know it doesn't have an electric button, but you know, it's still fun. So, do you want to drive it? Do you want to drive it? You want to see how it drives? Yeah, I want to do too. So, let's do it. I have a special modification here, which you can see. It's a touch screen, and it also has maps with current traffic control and information, so it's not that difficult just to put your phone here. Let's start the beast. As you can see, you have to pump it a little bit because it's so hot today that probably the fuel just vanishes from the engine a bit, and you have to pump it. But it's, as I said, really reliable in the thing that it starts every time. So let's go. The driving experience without the roof is just mind-blowing. It's very nice and chilly and cheerful, I would say. Well, talking about the mechanics of driving this car, the first thing that comes to your attention is the steering, because it doesn't have assisted steering, so it's pretty tough to turn this car. I actually caught myself just adding some air to the front tires to have them a little bit more stiff, so the steering is more precise and lighter. That's the thing to do, I think. But aside from that, the hard steering is pretty good in higher speeds, and if you go to the autobahn or just a speed road or whatever, you can drive like 120 or even above that with just and it doesn't rattle. It just holds in pretty well. And as you can see, there is not much space here, so it's recommended to have the steering wheel in the position that allows you to put your fist between the wheel and your knee, and it's not easy to do it in this car. I mean, I would have to get the seat really far back to achieve this. And of course the steering wheel doesn't have any regulation. I mean, I'm not able to turn it in out, up or down, unfortunately. And as I was saying about the seats, well, they are not really comfortable too. I mean, they look good, they're very simple, but they're very small, and I found myself just that half of my back is just sticking up above the highest seat level, and just for a short ride it doesn't really affect my back that much, but if you want to do like a few hundred kilometers in it, you'll probably be really upset with your back, especially if you have some problems like I do. There is no like other regulations, other adjustments in the seat, just front, back, and the upper part is also adjusted. As far as the engine goes, as I was telling you, it's not really dynamic. I mean, it drives, but you push the pedal to the metal and it just accelerates, but it's nothing unusual. I've heard that people are swapping these machines with 2.0 engines, gasoline engines from Golf 3, and supposedly they fit in easily and make the car more dynamic. But for a weekend driver like this one, when you drive really slowly, probably just only around town, this engine is more than sufficient in my opinion. Let's see how the brakes brake. Like, ooh. Yeah, they're pretty good. Of course, I don't have ABS or anything, but there are brake discs in front and drum brakes in the back, and the front brakes do a pretty well job at stopping this car. Yeah, let's drive through some forest and talk about the transmission. Transmission has 5 gears, of course, it's a manual, and all the gears push in really precisely. They're very good. I don't have any remarks regarding this transmission. It fits perfectly this engine, and I didn't have any problems with it. The only thing with the transmission and engine thing is like when you accelerate and decelerate, it sometimes just like catches a little bit of a cough, hiccup, or whatever you want to call it. Ooh, I've reached the forest. Let's turn back and talk some more. Well, the turning radius, as you can see, is not that bad. The car is very small. I think it's a benefit in some way if you want to drive around town, but it's small for a guy like me. Like I'm 185 centimeters high, and it's the seats are too small. The place here is pretty much okay, but I don't think I have a great and a very safe position behind the wheel. Yeah, and the roundabout again. Ugh. It handles pretty well, I have to say. It's a fun little car. And it looks good, that's the main thing. It looks good, it's recognizable, it's becoming to be a nice young timer that ups in value. You can buy these things now for like 5 or 10 grand euro, which is not that expensive. It's an amount that probably you can collect in a few years and put it in a big, how do you call it, jar, money jar, and buy this thing and have just great fun during weekends, because it's a weekend car. Let's face it, it's not a daily driver, and it won't be ever. It's such fun to drive this car. Yeah. we have reached our destination. You have reached your destination, and you can park your car and you can talk to your friends about this movie and this car. So let's sum it up. It's a nice little car. It's pretty reliable. It's not that expensive. And some of the things can be expensive, like I've heard that these rubbers and yeah, these can be really expensive, like €100 per piece or even more, and they do tend to break. Also, you have to look out for the rust. So if you buy this car, just look like around the wheels, of course, here, there, around the lamps. Like for example, here you can see something happening already. But aside from that, it's in pretty good condition. So look out for the rust. Buy it and have fun. So guys, let me know if you like that kind of onboards and if it has been any value to you. If yes, I will do more of them because I'm starting to have a lot of fun cars to drive. Maybe not fast ones, but exciting ones. So, like, subscribe, and see you in another movie. Bye. Peace, love. Cool car.